Okay, quadratic formula. What is quadratic formula? All over 2a. Okay, so what is a in this case? A is 1. What's b? What's c? Negative 1. All right, so let's start solving it. Okay, so that's okay. R equals x equals, it's okay. I'm going to do R in this case. R equals opposite b. Negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Right, so what would you type in your calculator? 16 minus 4 times 1 times negative 1? Or just think negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. 16 plus 4 is what? 20? Okay, is there anything that goes into 20 that I could simplify this with? 4 and 5? Right. 20 is 4 times 5. Which one can I take the square root of? So I could write negative 4 plus or minus what? 2 square roots of 5 all over 2. Can you simplify? You can divide everything by what? 2. This divided by 2 is what? 2. This divided by 2 is? And this divided by 2 is? So I'm left, my final answer is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 5 all over 1, but I might as well just write that. Yeah? Okay, let's move to question 3. You got it? Okay, let's go to question 3. What's A? What's B? Negative 4. What's C? Positive 4. So B equals, and by B I mean x equals, right? So when you're doing the quadratic formula, whatever the variable is, that's what you'd say equals. So B equals what? Opposite B? Positive 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared? Well, wait 1 second. Negative 4 squared is b squared, right? What is negative 4 squared? Positive 16. Don't forget that. Minus 4 times A, C. Sounds like we're counting down. All over 2 times A, which is 5. So what would you type in your calculator? Right, so negative 4 squared or 16 minus 4 times 5 times 4, what do you get? Okay, so we got 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 64 over 10. Right, that is an imaginary answer because I've got a negative. What is the square root of 64? So I'm going to say 4 plus or minus, like you said, 8i over 10. Now, is there anything that could simplify? 4 and 8 and 10 all divide by what? So I'm going to cancel that out and put a 2. Cancel this out and put a what? And this and make it a... So my final answer is 2 plus or minus 4i all over 5. Okay, so if you have 2 or 3 problems on there and it's quadratic formula, you're going to be okay? All right. Let's go with number 5. Simplify each expression, name the polynomial by its degree and number of terms. Okay, do not make this question harder than it is. What are you saying? Right, she's saying I need to distribute the negative because all I'm doing is subtracting, right? Not multiplying. Do not sit there and start multiplying these because you know. Okay, so I am subtracting, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. 6p squared minus 5p minus 5p cubed, and then what? Right, I'm subtracting this whole thing, so anything, all I need to do is remember to change the signs. If this had been a negative, I would have made it a what? Positive. So let's find the highest power. What's the highest power? 3. So there's a negative 5p cubed and a negative 5p cubed. That's a total of how many? Okay, so let's write that down. What's the next highest power? Okay, so I've got 6 minus 2. And then what have I got left? Negative 5p and negative 5p? Negative 10p? So it did. What else does it ask you to do in the directions? Yeah. Name the polynomial by its degree and number of terms. Okay, so let's list the degrees. Constant is when you have how many x's? 0 x's. That's like 3. Linear is when you have 1 x. So what's the next one? Quadratic. What's the next one? Okay, what's the next one? Quartic. How can I remember that? Quart. How many quarters are in a dollar? 4. Okay, what about the x to the 5th? Quintic. Hey, what about number of terms? So if you have one term, right, one term is a monomial. 2 terms, good, binomial. 3 terms, trinomial. 4 or more, good. Polynomial, blah, blah, blah. Polynomial with blank terms. Okay, so let's name the one that we're actually dealing with. Okay, so I'm hearing cubic trinomial, yeah? Because the highest power is 3, so it is a cubic function. And there's 3 terms, so cubic trinomial. Okay? What if I had said this? What if that wasn't part of the answer? What if it was just that? Quadratic, binomial. What if I had said just that? Linear, monomial. Good. All right, let's go to number 7. Number 7 says find the product, yeah? Okay, so I need to distribute, right? I'm multiplying? Okay, what do you distribute first? The 5x squared? Okay, guys, I've been grading these tests. I'll hand them out to you tomorrow. I'll hand you back your grades tomorrow. You need to be careful about multiplying things and making sure that you have, you've multiplied the numbers and the variables, yeah? So 5x squared times x squared, what's that? To the 4th, right? So 5x squared times x squared is 5x to the 4th. So what's 5x squared times 5x? 25x cubed, right? Okay, now what am I multiplying? 5x squared times 2? 10x squared. Now what am I distributing? Right, so negative 2x times x squared. Okay. Negative 2x times 5x. What about negative 2x times 2? Okay. What do I gotta do now? Negative 4? Negative 4 times x squared? Negative 4 times 5x? And then negative 4 times 2? And then I just, what? Okay, so bring down the 5x to the 4th. What's 25 minus 2? 10 minus 10 is what? So those cancel out and I'm left with just, okay. What's negative 4 and negative 20? And then minus 8. Okay, we good? Good. I'm hoping so. Okay, so now let's go to number 9. Number 9 says factor, yeah? So, what do I need to do? Well, let's let her in. Okay. So what do we do when it says factor? Factor it out. Okay, when you factor, you always gotta factor out any common factors, yeah? Sharon, you need one of those. It's on the other test. Okay, so what's common in all those? So I'm gonna factor it out. So I'm factoring out x. What am I left with? Okay, am I done? No, I gotta try and factor this. So in order to factor something like that, I'm looking for factors of what? 15 that add up to 8. Okay, so 1 and 15, then 3 and 5, and 3 and 5 do add up to 8? So how do I write that? Okay, they're both positive. If you wrote that down, would you get full credit? Almost. I know. That's factored. Did I ask you to solve?
No.
I didn't ask you to solve. I just said factor, so we're done, yeah? Okay. We good? Does this help, Luigi? You're not having to look around me? Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's talk about number 11. It says determine the zeros and their multiplicity, then write the function in factored form. A lot of people forgot that on the test. Yeah? Okay. Speaking of test, Sharon, you need to finish the other half of it. Yeah? Okay, we'll have time to. No, this is fine. This is the review for the 9 weeks test that we're gonna take on Monday. Yeah. I am too. All right, so determine the zeros and multiplicity. Well, okay. Can you go ahead and tell me what the zeros are? -1 and +2 are my zeros, right? Okay. When we do factors, Tito, when we do factors, then we do the opposite. So my zeros are -1 and +2. But it also says determine their multiplicity, right? Okay, so let's do a little reminder. A multiplicity of 1 versus a multiplicity of 2 versus a multiplicity of 3. What does a multiplicity of 1 look like? Okay, just go straight through it, right? What about a multiplicity of 2? So it bounces? What about a multiplicity of 3? It waves through it? Okay, so I'm thinking this first one has a multiplicity of what? Of 1? Because it just goes straight through it? What about it 2? Okay, so now let's write the factored form. If the 0 is -1, now Tito, what's the factor? How do I write? Right, x plus 1. To the what power? To the first power, right? Because the multiplicity is 1. So what about this one? -2 to the what power? Okay. Equals y, and there's my factor form. Okay, is that something we're going to get? Are we going to get that? I hope so. Okay, because it's meant to be an easy one. Okay, Pascal's triangle. Remember Pascal's triangle? Okay, so let's write it out right quick. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1. 1. Okay. Which one is this? The bottom one? Right, because this is the one that has the 5 in it, right? That's being raised to the 5th power. Okay, so what do I do with these numbers? Do I just write them out really?
Yeah, you write them out really spaciously.
Oh, so I write them out spaciously like.
Yeah.
Spaciously like is probably not the correct terminology, but it's perfect. I love it. All right, so what is the first term? A, guys, hey, please focus on this because some of us had trouble with this on the test. The first term is A, right? What's the highest power? So I start with A to the 5th. And then go what? And no A on the last one, right? Okay, so what about the other one? What's the other term? 2? Okay, so this is on this side, right? So look at it like this. A should be to the 5th power on this side because A is first. 2 should be to the 5th power where? on that side, okay? So I need, if I start over here, I could do that. 2 to the 5th and then go down, right? 2 to the 4th, 2 cubed, 2 squared, 2 to the 1st, no 2? There we go. So what do I need to do now? Simplify? Okay. 1a to the 5th, does that simplify any? Okay, so just a to the 5th. What is 2 to the 1st? 2 times 5 is? So plus 10a to the 4th. Okay. What is 2 squared? 2 squared is 4. 4 times 10 is? Right, so plus 40a cubed. What's 2 cubed? 8? Right? So 8 times 10 is? So 80a squared. Well, if you want to know what 2 to the 4th is, just multiply that one by 2. 2 to the 4th is 2 cubed times 2, or just 16. 16 times 5? 80. A. And then 16 times 2, or 2 to the 5th, is 32. Sorry. Tell him I'm sorry, I meant to bring that to him yesterday. So plus 32. Are we done? Okay. You will get partial credit if you're able to fill this out. If you mess up on that, it'll be partial credit, okay? Just little things. All right, so let's move to 15. Find all the roots and write in factored form. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to, you do have a calculator, yeah? Okay, and it says find all the roots and write in factored form. Bailey, would you hand me that calculator on the desk beside you? Okay, so I'd like everyone to graph. So go to your y equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to go zoom 6 to make sure I have just a standard window. And I think I can already tell what my zeros are. Okay, I think they're whole numbers -3, -2, and 2. How can I check and make sure? Go to my table. So second table. At 2 it's at 0, right? So that works. At -2 it's 0 and at -3 it's 0. Okay, so I already know my factors, or my zeros. I already know my zeros are -3, -2, and +2. But what else does it ask me to do? Write the function in factor form. So if the 0 is -3, I need to write x plus 3. Number 15. Okay, so if the 0 is -2, then I write x plus 2. And if the 0 is +2, then I write x minus 2. Okay, let's put an f of x in the front of this, and then we're done. Okay, now let's move to 17. Okay. What am I going to want you guys to do on 17? Same thing? We're actually going to solve 17 two different ways. Option. It does not look like OPT, does it? Is that better? Yeah. It doesn't look like. I know. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Option 1. Okay. So what do you want to do? Okay, I heard factor first, so let's factor first. Okay, now factor, we factor by what? Grouping. So I'm going to group the first two, group the last two, and then do what? Right, find the common factors and factor them out. So what's common between x cubed and x squared? X squared, what am I left with? X plus 1? Okay, what can I factor out of 4x and 4? I'm left with equals 0. Okay, so what do I write now? X squared plus 4 and then x plus 1. So it does say find all the roots, right? So when does this equal 0? When does this equal 0? Shall we solve it? Okay, so you're saying square root this? If I square root this, plus and minus, and you're right, they are imaginary. They're imaginary what? 2i? Okay, so I found all my zeros. There's 3 of them because the power is 3. I found -1 and plus or minus 2i. What's the last thing it asked me to do? Write it in factor form, right? I almost have it in factor form right here. I just got to finish it out. Right, I'm going to leave in x plus 1, but I'm going to write down 2 different factors for this right here. So x and x. Okay. Now, right, good. That's not the only way to do this. How else could you have done this problem? Right. Right, so let's graph. So let's graph this and do the same. Right, that's option 2. Okay, so if I graph this, x to the third plus x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so when you look at this graph, where does it cross the x-axis? At -1. What would you do if this is the only thing you were doing? You found that it crossed at -1. How are you going to find the others? Synthetic division. You know x equals -1. So we synthetically divide out and find the rest. So what do I put across the top? Okay, bring down the 1. -1 times 1 is, add them up and I get, -1 times 0 is, add them up. Okay, -1 times +4 is -4, add them up and I get 0. So if I started with a cubic function and I factor out one term, right, 1x squared, is there an x term? Some people accidentally wrote down an x. There's not an x, it's just 0. So plus 4 equals 0. Same deal, x squared equals -4, x equals plus or minus the square root of -4, x equals plus or minus 2i, yeah? Okay, so whichever way you prefer, that's what you do, okay? If you prefer to factor it and simplify, or if you prefer to graph and synthetically divide and solve. That's what you do, okay? Alright, so last one that we're doing today, what are we doing? Sketch the graph, approximate each real 0 to the nearest tenth, find the relative maximum and minima to the nearest tenth. Okay, I prefer hundredths, so 2 decimal places. Yep, let's graph it. Is hundredth? Never mind. Okay. So y equals x cubed minus 4x squared plus 4. Okay, shall we be on the same window they're on? Okay, their window is what? Okay, so 8 to 8s. So -8 to 8, -8 to 8. Okay. So here's what I want. First it says approximate the real zeros. So how do I find the zeros? If I go to my table, do I see anywhere that equals 0? Okay. So what should I do? Yeah, so second calculate, right? Second calculate. a 0. Okay, so this is the first 0 I want to find, right?
So you go down.
Down below it is left, good. And then above it is to the right of it? Press enter, I don't want to guess. So it tells me that one of my zeros is that, what? Negative 0.90. Okay. Let's find the next one. How many zeros are there? 3. So I can calculate 0 to the left of this one is above or below it? Above. Right is below. And I get 1.19? Okay. No, I want to go ahead and do 2 decimals. Okay, and then second calculate another one, yeah? Left is below, right is above. And what do you get? So if you round 3.7, 1? Hey, is that 0 right there? Yeah, okay, so 3.71. Now what do I need to find? The min and max. Okay, so max, min. Huh? That's the plural form of maximum and minimum. So if there's more than one, you find the minima. Okay, so second calculate, I want to find my max first. Okay, so my max is over here, yeah? To the left of it is on the left, and there's the left-hand side. This is the right-hand side, yeah? Press enter. So my max occurs at the point what? 0, right? I know it's not over 3.28. I gotta remember to look for that e, right? So 0, 4. So what about my min? So I can calculate minimum. What's going on? Okay, bring it over here and I'll look at it. So I can calculate, oh, I did maximum again. I am a silly goose. Zero. It's just a different 0 from mine.
Yeah.
Because see, it doesn't matter, you still got 0, 4. You know what I mean? This is a different point.
Okay.
This right here, that's 0 because you have an e.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so guys, oh, I didn't guess, or I haven't done it yet. So where is my minimum? Right, so 2.67, comma, negative 5.48. Okay, so there's the odds on the review. Did we seem like this is something we can handle?
I know I did it right.